Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We're going to have 3/4-hour shows this hour. We're going to start off with an episode of The Adventures of Jungle Jim. This goes back to July 11th, 1936. I know some of you really like The Adventures of Jungle Jim. This episode entitled The Purple Triangle.
Presenting the adventures of Jungle Jim. Last week, while Derek Bluger was making another attempt to find out more about Jungle Jim from Lynn Chalmers, word came that 3 strangers had made their appearance in the hills. Bluger turned the missionary's daughter over to General Lin Fu and flew off to meet the intruders. In the meantime, Shanghai Lil asked to be taken to see Lynn Chalmers. While back in the hills, Jim and Kolo buried Chung, the Chinese secret agent, who was slain by a sniper. Then they started out on foot for the camp of Derek Bluger. The thrilling adventures of Jungle Jim are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And now we continue our story. Jungle Jim and Kolo crouch behind a pile of rocks in Suling Pass and peer cautiously over the top as they watch 2 sentries warming themselves at their campfire.
Keep down, Kolo. Don't let them see us. Soldiers no see us, Twan. Have backs to us. Yes, but there's no telling how long they'll stay that way. We've got to get their clothes somehow. With those rifles and cartridge belts, they must be Bluger sentries. Yes, Twan. Me think Mongol men belong all same Bluger. I wonder where their posts are. Just by that campfire, or do they walk around? We find out, Twan Jim. Look, see. Look out, Kolo. Here comes one of the soldiers this way. Get down here and don't say a word. Twan Jim, Mongol man go by. Yes, but he may be coming back. Yep. He's turning around. Here he comes. Quiet now. And there he goes back to the campfire. Look. One other Mongol man. Him come back campfire too. Yeah. That fire is the halfway mark between the 2 posts. Boy, it sure gets cold in this pass after the sun goes down. I don't blame him for staying close to that fire. Go catch a Mongol man now, Twan Jim? Not just yet. We've got to take him by surprise. Look, Twan Jim. Hail back up. What's that airplane doing around here? Kolo, what did I tell you? That sniper reported to Bluger that we're on our way to his camp. That plane's looking for us. Get down here and keep close to the rocks, Kolo. There it goes. Did you see those 2 soldiers wave up at it as it flew over them? We've got to work fast, Kolo. Now listen. You crawl over that way and take care of the sentry over there. I'll take care of this one. And when you get on the far side, whistle like a night bird. Then we'll both jump out and rush them together. Yes, Twan. Kolo give bird. Okay, let's get going.
Come on, Kolo. Let me open it, will you? Now, hurry, Kolo. Get their uniforms off them. No, wait. That plane might come back any minute. They'll see us from the light from the fire. We'd better drag him over near those rocks. Come on. Attaboy, Colt. Come on, drag him right over here. Take one. Here. They can't see us over here. Now get the uniforms off these boys. We've got to change clothes with them before they come back from dreamland.
Yes, Twan. Kolo do. Twan, we be dressed like yellow faces, but no have yellow faces. Me black, you white.
Yes, I know, Kolo. We must be careful. But at least this will be something of a disguise. They won't recognize us from a distance.
Yes, Twan. Which way we go to Bluger camp?
The airplane came from over that hill, remember? We'll take our cue from that
and go that way.
In the meantime, in Bluger's camp, Lin Fu takes Shanghai Lil to see Lin Chalmers.
Visitor wishing to see you, Mrs. Chalmers.
Visitor for me? Who is it? Believe it or not, it's me.
Hoping you ladies get very friendly.
Who are you?
I don't suppose you could guess.
No, I've never seen you before.
And I've never seen you. But that doesn't mean I don't know who you are, Lin Chalmers.
Why, you must be Lily DeVille.
That's right. Only my friends know me better as Shanghai Lil.
What are you doing here?
Visiting an old friend of mine.
Oh, of course. Lin Fu.
Now listen here, Miss Chalmers. Don't let the name Shanghai Lil give you any wrong ideas. It's Derek Bluger who's my old friend.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you can have him. I don't admire your choice of friends.
Oh, no? Now isn't that odd?
Why?
Somehow I got the idea that you and I have a mutual friend that you admire very much.
Oh, you mean Jim?
Yes, Jungle Jim Bradley.
Well, your friendship with Jim happened by chance, not from choice.
I'm afraid you're right about the chance part. It was chance that brought us together. But it was choice that has kept us friends.
If you're such a good friend of Jim's, why did you bring him over to China?
Because he was wanted over here.
I can believe that. And it's your old friend, Mr. Derek Bluger, who wants him.
Well, it seems like that, doesn't it? But Derek's not the only one who'd like to see Jim.
Oh, I suppose you're dying to see him.
Well, hardly dying, Miss Chalmers. But I would like to see him very much. That's why I'm having this little chat with you.
I don't understand.
I thought, since Jim is our one mutual friend, that you might tell me where he is.
You ought to know, if anyone does.
I?
You brought him over from Burrawani. You saw him last.
That's quite true. Unfortunately, I was the last to see him. But since then, he's dropped completely out of sight.
Yes, I know. Oh, I wish I could be sure he was safe.
Ah, then you know something of where he ought to be. He wrote you a letter telling you his plan?
No, he didn't write me any letters. And let me tell you, Lily DeVille, I don't know where Jim Bradley is. But if I did, I'd never tell you.
Curtain. End of Act 2. And the orchestra swings into the stars and stripes forever.
Sneer if you like, but it's the truth.
How apropos. Derek told me you talked like a heroine in a 10, 20, 30 melodrama.
I can't help what I sound like. I'm telling the truth.
Now listen here, Miss Chalmers. As woman to woman, I don't blame you for sticking to your first story. But you can take my word for it, it'll be better for you and Jim if you come clean and tell me where he is.
Why would it?
I can't answer that just now. But are you going to tell me?
I'm telling you the truth. I don't know where Jim Bradley is.
So you won't talk, eh? All right, you little fool. You've had a chance and you didn't take advantage of it. I'll let Derek handle you from now on.
A few hours later, the plane piloted by Derek Bluger roars in from the hills. Lin Fu and Shanghai Lil watch it circle for a landing.
Has Derek captured the strangers, Lin Fu?
We soon know. Most High Superior now, landing plane. Mrs. Chalmers still holding tongue, eh, Shanghai Lil?
Yes, the little fool. I told her I'd let Derek handle it from now on.
I not care to be in Miss Chalmers' shoes now. Most High Superior not in very good humor. Look.
You're right, Lin Fu. He's in a black anger if I ever saw him in one. I guess the strangers escaped.
Well, what are you two standing there for?
We're waiting to welcome you, Most High Superior.
You didn't find the intruders, Derek?
If I had, they'd be here with me now, wouldn't they? Don't be so naive, Lil. Yen Sing. Yen Sing.
Yes, Most High Superior. I come in.
Lin Fu, has the Chalmers girl talked yet?
No, Most High Superior. Mrs. Chalmers still denies she know anything about Jungle Jim Bradley.
She does, huh? We'll tend to her later. Just now, I want to deal with that sentry from the hills who brought word of the strangers.
You called me, Most High Superior?
Yes, I want you to bring that sentry to me in my quarters for court-martial. Have assembly sounded. Arouse the entire camp.
Yes, Most High Superior. At once.
I didn't find the strangers, Lin Fu, but I found 3 horses running loose in Su Ling Pass.
Ah, were you able to identify owners, Most High Superior?
I'm almost certain that one of them was Jim Bradley.
What makes you so sure, Derek?
They had abandoned some of their supplies. They were stamped as having been purchased in the international settlement at Shanghai.
That's not definite proof, Derek. It might have been that long-nosed Tom singer, Manly Chalmers.
Yes, I know that, Lil. That's why I said I was almost certain. We'll question the sentry and see if he can furnish definite descriptions of the 3 strangers.
Excellent idea, Most High Superior. Excellent. Do you not think so, Shanghai Lil?
Yes, I couldn't have planned it better myself.
As soon as these soldiers are assembled in Fu, let me know. I'll be in my quarters. You come with me, Lil. All right, Lil. In here. I've got an assignment for you, Lil.
Yes? Well, what is it, Derek?
I haven't been able to make any headway trying to get that missionary's daughter to tell us what she knows. Maybe a woman could turn the trick. I want you to try.
Well, thanks for the compliment, Derek. But I've already interviewed her while you were out searching.
Smart girl. And?
And I wasn't so smart. I didn't get anything out of her but another denial.
Still playing possum, is she?
Playing clam, I should say.
All right, then we'll have a clam bake. I've got an idea, Lil.
A little touch of court-martial?
No, that would be too simple. And it would get us nowhere. I'm going to... I'll tell you later, Lil. Come in.
Here is sentry, Most High Superior.
Bring him here in front of the desk.
Over here, you. Most High Superior, camp is drawn up in formation. We await orders.
Good, I have something to say to them in a moment. But first, Yen Sing, you get the Chalmers girl and bring her here.
Yes, Most High Superior.
So you were the sentry stationed at the entrance to Tsuling Pass.
Yes, Most High Superior.
What's your name?
Wali, Most High Superior.
Now, Wali, you saw 3 foreigners approaching our territory?
Yes, Most High Superior.
Could you see them very clearly?
Oh, yes, Most High Superior. They against face of moon.
Tell me what they look like.
2 men wear sun helmets. One looked tall and thin. One looked fatter.
Derek, can I ask him a question?
Oh, yes, go ahead, Lil.
Wally, you say you got a good look at those men. Did one of them have a little beard?
No, Missy. No man have beard.
If one had, Lil, you think it would be...
The missionary, our friend, the Reverend Chalmers.
And since none had a beard, it's a pretty good chance Jim Bradley's arrived.
Yes, Derek, it sounds like it. Wally, did one of the 3 wear a turban wrapped around his head?
Yesy, Missy. One wore turban.
That's Bradley's man, Friday. I guess we've identified your visitors, Derek.
Jim Bradley in my territory, huh? And you let him escape, Wally.
Most High Superior. I not know who strangers are.
That's your mistake, Wally, but you're going to pay for it.
Oh, Most High Superior.
Get up, you.
I not know.
Nothing at all,
I not know. I not know.
Well, if it isn't the Girl Scout.
Bring Miss Chalmers over here, Yen Sing, in this chair. And take this stupid sentry outside. I'll deal with him in a few moments.
Yes, Most High Superior. Come, Wally.
So, then, Chalmers, you still claim to know nothing of Jungle Jim's plan.
Yes, and it's the truth.
We'll soon find out. 2 foreigners are coming here. We suspect that one of them is Jungle Jim. I'm going to set a trap for him with you as the bait.
What kind of a trap is Derek Bluger going to set for Jungle Jim? The adventures you have just heard dramatized appear in full-color action pictures in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest supplement of humor and adventure. The big Comic Weekly distributed with your Hearst Sunday newspaper everywhere. In the Comic Weekly, you will see all of the famous characters who live in the world of color pictures. There's Bringing Up Father, Sentinel Louie, Toots and Casper, Flash Gordon, the Katzenjammer Kids, and many others. There are also pictures of high spots in the careers of heroes of American history. Don't forget our date next week, same time, same station, for a continuation of the adventures of Jungle Jim.
July 11th, 1936, The Adventures of Jungle Jim here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The Challenge of the Yukon is next. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we'll start an episode of The Challenge of the Yukon, July 11th, 1946.
The Challenge of the Yukon.
On, King! On, you Huskies!
Wonder Dog King, swiftest and strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the Challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the new Northwest country, where the greed for wealth and power led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog King met that challenge, and justice ruled triumphant. Charlie Riker and his son Billy lived on the outskirts of Selkirk in the Yukon country. Billy's mother had died the year before, and Billy, though only 13, had matured rapidly in an effort to be a companion to his father. They had set traps along the creek near their cabin, and on a winter morning, as the pale sun filtered through the clouds, they were inspecting their traps.
Hope we have better luck this time. I can't figure why we haven't done better this winter.
I still think somebody's been fooling with our traps, Dad. Pierre Lagarde has had the same trouble we have, and his traps are set near ours.
And if someone is robbing our traps, he's mighty clever at it.
Listen, that sounds like a dog.
Either someone is beating it or it's caught in a trap. Now, come on, but be quiet.
I teach you! Follow me, you can't! I say, step back! Now you learn!
Hey, you! Quit beating that dog!
Poor fellow.
Now, what's the idea of it?
Look, coward. Look at him run. Guess he was afraid you'd give him some of his own medicine. This poor dog can barely stand up.
He's just a pup. Hello there, boy. Dirty half-breed almost killed him.
Dad, let's take him home with us. He's hurt.
Oh, but he isn't our dog, son. That man will probably come back for him.
And the way he was running, I doubt it.
Oh, wait a minute. Look over here.
What is it?
Isn't this one of Pierre's traps?
Yes, this is the end of his trap line. Why, look, someone...
That half-breed ran because we practically caught him red-handed robbing Pierre's trap.
Oh, he's the one who's been doing it.
We better go into town and report this right away. You got a good look at him, didn't you, son?
I sure did. He had a long scar on his cheek.
I'd know that ugly face anywhere.
But what about this dog, Dad?
We'll take him home. Then I'll go to town and report this to the mounted police.
Two weeks later, Billy rushed eagerly to the door as he heard Sergeant Preston's dog team stop in front of the cabin. A gangling pup rose to his feet and rushed to the door with him.
I'm not going out, Flash. Go back and lie down. Hi, Dad. Hello, Sergeant Preston.
Hello, Billy.
Hello, son.
Did that half-breed go to jail?
Yes, Bill. He's been sent to prison for 2 years. Your dad identified him.
Good. That'll teach him to rob traps and beat dogs, won't it, Flash?
Well, that dog's turning out fine, Billy.
Sergeant Preston says you can keep him, son.
Oh, thanks, Sergeant. I'd sure hate to give him up now. He's a wonderful dog.
Good home is all he needed, Bill. Kulik was cruel to him. I'm surprised he has any spirit left.
He's got lots of spirit, haven't you, boy?
As spring and summer passed, Flash and Billy became constant companions. The dog grew rapidly, and by the time the snow returned, he was a huge, big-chested husky, completely devoted to his young master. He lay before the crackling fire with his head on Billy's lap and sleepily listened to the voices of the young boy and his father.
We're going to have to make the trip to Dawson, Billy, before the weather gets too bad.
You go without me this time, Dad. I'm old enough to stay alone.
Oh, son, you'd better come with me. I'd worry about you.
But, Dad, I just set up my trap line. I can't leave it now. I'll have Flash with me, and Pierre isn't far away.
I don't think you could make out here all alone, son. Your meals...
You know I'm a good cook. Flash and I can get along fine. Can't we, boy?
Well, I don't blame you for not wanting to go. It's a long trip up there. Wouldn't go myself if it weren't absolutely necessary.
Please let us stay here. It would make me feel kind of grown up. As if you finally decided I was a man.
Oh. That might be a good experience for you at that. I'm afraid you'll be lonesome, though.
Flash is good company. We won't mind. I'll be so busy with my traps and everything, the time will fly.
Well, that's the way you want it, son. I guess we can try it this once. I better leave in the morning. I'll be gone a long time, Billy. It'll take about 2 weeks to get up to Dawson. You sure you won't change your mind?
No, Dad. Flash and I want to stay here.
It had taken Charlie more than 2 weeks to get to Dawson City from Selkirk. He was tired and hungry as he walked toward the Northern Hotel, when suddenly he heard his name called.
Charlie Riker.
Hello, Preston.
What are you doing in Dawson?
I'm up here on business. Just got in.
It's lucky I saw you. On my way to the telegraph station to wire you.
Oh, what for?
I got some bad news at headquarters, Charlie. Kulik, that half-breed you sent to prison, has escaped.
Escaped?
I thought I should warn you. It was your testimony that jailed him. Now, it's not likely that he'll go back to your territory, but we never can tell. Sometimes the desire for revenge is stronger than caution. But as long as you're up here, nothing to worry about.
Oh, but there is. I left Billy alone.
You mean Billy isn't with you?
Well, he wanted to stay and take care of his traps. I left him alone with Flash.
Were you planning to stay in Dawson for a while?
Well, I should stay at least a week, but I can't now. Why, if Kulik is loose, I'm heading back there right away. I'll never forget the look he gave me when they took him off to jail. Didn't say a word.
And the conclusion of the Challenge of the Yukon, July 11th, 1946, comes up when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of the Challenge of the Yukon, July 11th, 1946.
But those eyes of his spelled murder.
It's my job to catch Kulik, Charlie. There's a chance that he may come back to Selkirk, and that's where I'm planning to go.
Well, if you're around, there's nothing for me to worry about.
Well, then why don't you stay here in Dawson and finish your business? I'll leave for Selkirk in the morning, and I'll stay at your cabin with Billy.
You don't know what a relief this is, Preston. It's almost impossible for me to leave now. How long will it take you to get there?
Oh, I can do it in less than 2 weeks if the weather's good. Even if Kulik does plan to go back to Selkirk, it'll take him almost that long to get there.
Yes, but if he does get to Selkirk before
Well, that's
you
not
do...
borrowed trouble, Charlie. If he does get there first, let's hope he spends some time looking for you instead.
Billy missed his father. The weeks had gone by fast, but as he neared their cabin in the feeding light, he felt a pang of loneliness. He brightened as he heard someone call.
Hello, Billy.
Oh, Pierre, is that you?
Wait. How are you?
I'm fine. Gee, I'm glad you came. You can help me with Flash. Got a bad cut on his foot. See, he's running on 3 legs.
Wait. Or maybe on some sharp ice, huh?
I guess that's how he did it.
Oh, that will not be hard to fix.
Come on home with me and stay for supper.
That's just what I plan to do. Your father, he will be home soon?
Not for a couple of weeks, I'm afraid. Did you want to see him about something?
No. I just want to tell you, keep your storeroom locked. Last night, someone get in mine. He steals salt and quarter of caribou I have hanging there.
Stole it? Well, who could have done that?
I have seen moccasin tracks all around back of cabin.
I wonder why I didn't just ask you for the food. You'd have given it to him. Game is plentiful around here, too.
Maybe he has no gun to shoot it. Anyway, you keep good lock on door.
I didn't even lock the cabin when I left this morning. Here, Flash. Get in, boy. Come in, Pierre.
Wait.
What's wrong, Flash?
That dog. He sees something you think?
There's no one here. Oh, wait, I'll light this lamp.
Oh, look at him. His hair is standing up on his back.
He's never acted like this before. Pierre, look, that window is open.
Wait. Someone has been in this cabin, maybe.
But they didn't have to come through the window. The door was open.
Maybe whoever come does not want you to see his track in front of cabin. Maybe he hear us come, go out, but has not time to shut window.
It's too bad Flash was limping beside me instead of running ahead the way he always does.
That dog, he act funny. Maybe it's same man who robbed me of food. He has take something, you think?
I had my gun with me, but my knife, it was here on this table. It's gone.
That is same robber who steal from me, I bet you.
Nothing else is missing that I can see. Oh, well, it's probably just some Indian who lost his pack.
Billy, tomorrow you lock cabin when you go see your traps.
I'll do better than that. I'll leave Flash here to guard the place. I can't take him with me on account of his sore foot anyway. He'll keep anybody out who tries to get in, unless he's a friend.
It was late the following evening when Sergeant Preston stopped his dog team in front of Billy's cabin.
All right, King, you can come. It's funny there's no light. Billy must be in bed. Quiet, Flash. Billy, it's Sergeant Preston. The door's unlocked. Billy, are you here? Get back, Flash. Stay in there. Stay still, Flash, while I light this light. Well, that's funny. He's not here. You seem worried, fella. It's not like Billy to leave you here alone like this. Think you could find him? Maybe we better look for him. Come here, boy. I'm going to put a leash on you. There. Now come along. Come on, King. Find Billy.
Through the forest, Sergeant Preston, with Flash on leash and King beside him, kept on the trail of Billy. The Mountie, unable to see the trail, had to follow the lead of the dogs through the darkness.
Not so fast, Flash. Wait a minute, boy. We're tangled in this thick. All right, fella. Let's go. Quiet, King. Should be getting closer. I smell smoke. All right, Flash. Fight, Billy, fella. On, King.
Deep in the forest, a few miles from the cabin, a small campfire lighted the cruel face of Kulik, the half-breed, as he stood before Billy. The cold bit into the boy's flesh as his hands were growing numb and as he struggled with the ropes that bound him to a tree. The ugly, scarred face of the half-breed drew closer.
You tell where Father go.
I won't tell you. You've got my rifle. You'll kill him.
You tell.
Go ahead, hit me if that'll do you any good.
Let me see.
You coward. I won't tell you. Even if you torture me.
We try it.
No, no.
Get him. No. Let go. Help. Step down.
Sergeant Preston, Flash.
Back, Flash. Down, Flash. There. Stay there, fella. All right, King, back. Let him up. Get up, Kulik. You're not hurt.
Take dog away. Him bite.
He did not bite you. You're lucky I held that other dog back. He'd be dead by now. He hasn't forgotten what you did to him when he was a pup. Watch him, King.
Oh, Sergeant, I'm glad you got here.
I'll cut these ropes, Billy. Don't try anything funny, Kulik, or that dog will tear you to pieces.
He sneaked up on me while I was tending my traps. It was almost dark and I didn't see him. He wanted me to tell him where Dad was.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, Billy. He might have killed you after he did.
How did you find me, Sergeant? How did you know something was wrong?
Well, Flash brought me to you, Billy. I knew you wouldn't leave him there if you went away. He was very excited. He seemed to know that you were in trouble.
Kulik was in our cabin. He stole my knife. Flash recognized the scent.
I had a hard time holding your dog back, Bill. Luckily, I put him on leash, or I couldn't have kept up with him in the dark. Look at him. I'd sure like to get at that half-breed.
King saved my life. He jumped him just in time.
Yes, he did, Bill.
Is Flash's foot better?
What? I didn't know anything was wrong with it. Oh, look, it's bleeding. Poor fella, he was so worried about you, he didn't think about himself.
Flash, old boy. King's pretty wonderful, Sergeant, but I've got a fine dog, too.
You sure have, Billy. Come on, Kulik. We're going back to prison. Watch him, King.
From July 11th, 1946, The Challenge of the Yukon on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is next. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we wrap up this hour of 15-minute shows with another episode of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, Part 3 of the 5-part Shady Lane Matter, July 11th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Dollar. Well, this is Jet Bramler.
Oh, hiya, Constable.
Reckon I got the wrong number. I was calling Shady Lane Cafe.
Now, you've got it. I'm sitting right here at the counter.
Yes, well, but where's Millie, Mr. Dollar?
She's busy crying at the moment. I'm waiting for her to get through and hoping she'll confess to murder.
Now, you hadn't ought to gone and made her cry that way. Millie is a fine girl.
That's the trouble with this whole case. According to you, everybody in this township is fine people, all of them. Ellen Bates was a fine woman, too, and now she's dead. And one of these fine people killed her. I'm going to find out which one, Mr. Bramler, and I'm going to tag him for it. With your help or without it.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Shady Lane, Vermont, to the Home Office, Star Mutual Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, the Shady Lane Matter. Expense account continued. Item 7, $1.40, one pot roast special at the Shady Lane Cafe, while waitress Millie Wells dried her tears and repaired her face.
I thought over what she'd said, what I'd taken for a confession, and tried to fit it in with the other facts in the case. What few facts there were. A young farm wife, a semi-invalid named Ellen Bates, had been shot to death while sitting at the front window of her house. The weapon was an old-fashioned squirrel rifle, a type of gun owned by half the people in the township. Ellen Bates had no known enemies. Her husband, beneficiary of a $10,000 insurance policy on his wife's life, had been accused by a spiteful neighbor of carrying on with pretty waitress Millie Wells.
It's a lie, Mr. Dollar. Anyone who says Ben and I were seeing each other or even thought of such a thing before his wife's death is a mean, vicious liar.
All right, take it easy now, take it easy. There's no point in getting yourself all worked up and starting to cry again.
Ben's a fine man, straight and decent. And it makes me boil to have some low, sneaking gossip try to smear his reputation without reason.
It reflects on your reputation a little, too, Millie.
I don't care about me. I told you what I've been through. I'm used to it.
Do you ever get used to something like that?
No, not really. A murder charge isn't an easy thing to forget. You dream about it nights. Prison, the courtroom, the trial, the things they said about you.
But you were acquitted, finally.
I was acquitted, and I was innocent. But just being tried for murder brands a person for life.
What were the details of the case?
First, let me tell you about Ben. You haven't met him yet, Mr. Dollar. You don't know him. And I know the line you're thinking along.
It's the way things point, Millie.
Then things point wrong, that's all.
Maybe. Go on.
Well, he's been coming in here for the last 6 months. Not often, just every once in a while, just to eat.
Does Ben know you stood trial on a murder charge?
He does now. He didn't before his wife was killed. We just made conversation, that's all.
And since her death?
There's been no carrying on, as some people choose to think. One day Ben said, Millie, when this mess is all settled, I'd like very much to see more of you.
That's all?
That's all. And that's enough. Because I love him.
About the trial, Millie.
It was 4 years ago, in Chicago. I was working for a family on the West Side as a nursemaid, governess. They were wonderful.
What happened?
The wife died suddenly, under strange circumstances. It could have been an accident, or it might have been poison. I thought you already knew about it. That's why I blurted it out that way.
Oh, I'd have found out anyway, sooner or later.
Yes, I know. It was in all the headlines. The same things that they'll be saying about me here.
What do you mean?
I was accused of murdering the wife because I was in love with the husband.
I left the Shady Lane Cafe, and the tortured girl whose secret, close hidden for 4 frightened years, was now the property of a stranger. It was late now, and the town square was dark and deserted. A stark white moon was climbing the eastern sky, and the soft summer night's breath stirred in the leafy tops of the maples, whispering other secrets. Secrets the villagers dared not stay abroad and listen to. A fantasy, sure, pure and simple. Maybe it was a bad slice of pot roast. Anyway, the dim light burning in the office of Constable Jed Bramler brought me back to harsh reality.
Come in, Miss Dollar. Come in, pull up a chair.
Okay, thanks.
That girl stopped crying yet?
Sniffling a little, maybe, but she's practically stopped. For the time being, at least.
Mean something by that?
You know what I mean by it.
I reckon you must have found out about her past, so to speak.
You knew about it?
Yeah, since the day she come to town. Stopped in to see me, told me all about it.
Well, you were keeping it pretty quiet, weren't you?
It was told in confidence, Mr. Dollar.
All right, but this is a murder case.
It don't have no bearing. Millie ain't involved.
Would you mind if I had a chance to decide that once in a while?
Didn't know you'd be interested.
Don't you realize that Millie Wells may be the reason for the killing?
Still beating a dead horse, eh?
I think that horse is coming to life, Mr. Bramler.
You do?
The way things stand right now, a prosecuting attorney could go into court with a pretty strong case. The charge, first-degree murder. Accused, your friend Ben Bates.
You ain't met Ben yet, Mr. Dollar.
No, I haven't met him, but the facts add up. It's an old story.
Yeah, it's downright classic.
An invalid wife, a pretty girl, a rundown farm that doesn't look as though it's made a profit in years. A $10,000 life insurance policy dangling like a carrot.
Yeah, fact is, it's even worse a picture if you're a mind to look at it that way.
How?
That farm of Ben's ain't only run down, it's mortgaged to the hilt.
Oh?
Ben needed money for Ellen's operations. She'd had 3 in the last year and a half. He tried every way he knew how to, but the banks wouldn't touch it.
Well, in that case...
Martin Preeny, his next-door neighbor, come through and helped him out. $7,500.
Is the farm worth that much?
Nope. Wouldn't bring $4,500 if it was sold tomorrow. That's what I mean. Ben feels pretty obligated.
And the $10,000 from that policy on his wife would have taken the pressure off all the way around. Plus, leave him free to marry Millie Wells.
All right. I know it adds up that way. I've been studying over this thing for a month now, trying to figure out some other way of explaining it, hoping that somebody would show their hand. Yes, make a move of some kind.
And nothing's happened, huh?
No. Whoever done it is just sitting tight, waiting. Might be a good thing that you come along. Might jar things loose a little.
Yeah. Well, whether I'm right or wrong, one thing we've got to jar loose is that gun.
That's a fact, all right. Can't make much of a case against nobody without that gun.
You said nearly everybody in the township owned one of those old-fashioned squirrel rifles, the type Ellen was killed with.
That's right.
What about her husband? Does Ben own one?
Nope. Nothing but a shotgun.
Yes, I saw it when we were out there this afternoon hanging over the mantel. But at the same time, I noticed something else.
What do you mean?
That shotgun was resting on a pair of hooks set into the bricks above the fireplace. But the hooks hadn't been put there for that particular gun. Now, they were too far apart.
What are you getting at, Mr. Dollar?
I think those hooks would fit a squirrel rifle just fine.
Ben ain't one to lie. He told me he didn't have a rifle. But that's something else I've been studying about.
What do you mean?
I kind of half remember seeing a squirrel gun hanging over that mantel in years gone by.
Expense account item 8, $3. Car expense for another trip out to the Bates farm. A late night trip this time, and the last one, I hoped. Constable Bramler had suggested that my being in the case might help stir things up. Good, I was all for it. And not just stir things up, but wind them up. Tonight, maybe, if we caught Ben Bates at home.
Lights on inside.
Yeah, he must be here someplace.
Oh, evening, Jed.
Ben, like you to meet Mr. Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Dollar?
Hi, Ben.
Hey, you fellas are out late.
Little, I reckon. Mind if we come inside, Ben?
Oh, sure. Sorry, Jed, I didn't think. Well, let's go on back through to the kitchen. That's about the only room I use since... Well, anymore, I mean. Set yourselves down there at the table. I'll get us some lemonade if there's any ice left.
Oh, a lemonade lift would suit me fine.
Don't go to no trouble for us, Ben.
No, no trouble at all. Got it already made. Just have to chip a little ice into it. I reckon you'll kind of have to bear with me. I'm not much used to having callers come around since Ellen.
It's all right, Ben.
Here we are. You fellas got some business out this way tonight?
Fact is, Ben, we come out here to talk to you. Mr. Dollar is an insurance investigator. He's here to find out who killed Ellen.
I see. You got any ideas yet, Mr. Dollar?
I've kind of got an idea you might have done it, Ben.
I wouldn't have harmed a hair of Ellen's head.
I could be wrong.
Mr. Dollar has been checking around, Ben, talking to people here and there. Pre-niece, Millie Wells.
What's Millie got to do with it?
Nothing, maybe. Or she might be part of the motive.
I didn't even make her acquaintance hardly before the last week or two.
What about Mrs. Preeny? You've known her longer, haven't you?
Yes, she was a good friend of Ellen's. Why?
She thinks you killed your wife. She wrote an anonymous letter about it to the insurance company.
The woman's crazy. I knew she never liked me for some reason, but I sure wouldn't figure her to go that far.
Ben, whatever happened to that squirrel rifle you had around the house?
Why, the week before Ellen died, somebody...
Yes, Ben?
No, I didn't lie to you, Jed, not actually. When I told you I didn't have a rifle like that, I didn't. Not then. And you didn't ask me if I had one.
What happened to the rifle?
Well, it was stolen the week before Ellen was killed. I haven't seen it since.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the truth, Mr. Dollar.
You didn't report it being stolen?
Ellen asked me not to. She figured she knew who took it, and she wanted to give them a chance to make good. You know how she was.
But after she'd been shot by that same kind of rifle, you still didn't report it.
Report afterward that the gun had been took before?
Who might have taken it, Ben?
I've tried to think. Wasn't nobody came here that week except Mrs. Preeny and Grody Hawkins.
Grody Hawkins?
That's the hired hand we met here this afternoon, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, I know. The one who was a dead shot with a gun.
Yeah, no. Grody wouldn't kill nobody. He's a little touched, maybe, but he's good-hearted and gentle.
Is he another one of your pets, Constable? Don't you care whether the killer is identified?
Kind of a funny question to ask a murder victim's uncle.
Uncle? Mr. Bramler... Was Ellen Bates your niece?
She was. Didn't think to mention it, Mr. Dollar. Just figured you knew, I guess. And anyhow, it don't have no bearing.
That's part 3 of the 5-part yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Shady Lane Matter, July 11th, 1956, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit my webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand. You can learn more about classic radio collecting. You can contact me there. You can learn about all the places our shows are available on demand. And you can buy me a copy if you like. That will be nice. It'll go on toward making more great classic radio theater programs available via our show, classicradio.stream. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers, and tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.